Welcome. Don't adjust your dial. Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right. Lo-Fi's and low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? It's Thursday and time for that Lo-Fi global news, fresh off that press source, the BBC, Middle East section. Nagorno-Karabakh, Iran warns of regional war as fighting rages. Iran's president made several statements, including the headline, but also including that there was no excuse for accidental shells or munitions to fall into Iran's borders, which now there are reports of. The implications appear clear. Iran does not want this to escalate to a regional conflict, but seems willing to react if more shells or munitions do fall in its territory. This is at least the third report of another country getting involved in the conflict between Armenia and Azerbaijan. The second was that fighters from Syria were coming to aid both sides. The first was the instance of Armenia claiming that Turkey had shot down one of their planes with a fighter jet. We'll keep you updated as we know more for sure, Lo-Fi Nation. Let's hope for peace soon. Next up, source, Reuters, Aerospace and Defense section. Explainer, what a North Korean holiday may reveal about Kim Jong-un's plans. That's right, this Saturday marks the 75-year anniversary of the Workers' Party of Korea being created. Oh yeah! In 1945, just after World War II ended, and 5 years before the Korean War began, the Workers' Party of Korea got kicking, and the Kim family was getting ready to be known as one of the most famous families of the 20th century. This article, however, is filled with nothing but speculation. Maybe we'll see this, maybe we'll see that, possibly this, possibly that. Reuters, you could have made this nice and short and sweet, and got just as many clicks, my friends. My story for this, we have no clue what Kim Jong-un is going to do this Saturday. Nor do we know what it really means to North Korean citizens. Nor do we know if any other countries are really going to even pay much mind to this event. And furthermore, we don't know if anyone, including ourselves, is even going to believe any reporting about what does happen that day. The simple fact is, North Korea is the most isolated and blocked off country in the world. In many respects, there's a huge question mark over the entire country, and then a long list of speculations. I did, however, bring this story to our attention for a very important reason. There are some extremely valuable facts that we do know for sure about North Korea that most reporting and politicians seem to somehow miss. Fact number 1, they did not lose the Korean War. Fact number 2, the Kim family has been in power almost longer than any other family in the world. Fact number 3, they obtained nuclear weapons, and the world did little more than put sanctions on the country. Number 4, despite those sanctions, the Kim family retains power and does as they please. And fact number 5, it's been 75 years now. Those 5 facts point to a very important implication. North Korea is here to stay. They're playing by their own rules, and the world has done little about it, or simply can't do much about it. I'm interested in your thoughts, Lo-Fi Nation. Where do you think North Korea is headed in the next 75 years? Write in. Now, moving forward, because we never move on from anything, source, the BBC World. Indonesia, thousands protest against omnibus law on jobs. And what is an omnibus law, you may ask? Great question. It's a massively long policy with a whole bunch of different areas and changes in it. It's not really just one law. It's a lot of laws wrapped into one bill. And in this case, this omnibus law is over 1,000 pages and changes 75 laws in Indonesia. So let me go ahead and say it. No one person knows everything that is in this bill. That's the real scary part about omnibus laws. They hide things in plain sight. So why are tens of thousands of people protesting and hundreds being arrested in Indonesia? Well, this law is supposed to help draw foreign investment to the country to help the economy. Sounds great, right? So how are they going to do this? Well, number 1, it relaxes environmental regulations on businesses. It allows more outsourcing of work. The maximum allowed number of overtime hours worked in a day is being increased. Severance pay is being reduced. Industry/sector minimum wages are being done away with, and now regions inside the country will set their own minimum wage. In short, good for business, shitty for the workers and the people of Indonesia. So they are protesting. And again, the scary part, these are just some of the things that we know about. There's potentially a lot more in this bill that we know nothing about that will affect Indonesian workers and their daily lives. We'll be keeping an eye on this one for sure and let you know how it develops. Our following story comes from AP News International. To dodge sanctions, Venezuela turns to Asia asphalt giant. This is one of the longest written news pieces I've seen in a very long time. It basically lays out how a Thai company has been helping Venezuela pay their international bills, and in return, getting massive reductions in the price of oil it buys from Venezuela. You see, Venezuela's foreign assets and banks accounts were frozen because of sanctions, so they couldn't meet their international debt payments. This was a workaround in order to meet those agreements and still sell some of their oil. But forensic accounting has caught up to them, and now there's talk of money laundering, fraud, and several other things the company could face. But this story represents a how to get around international sanctions for countries. It's tricky, it's messy. The agreements never last forever, but they help countries around the world get around sanctions. We'll be curious to see how this pans out moving forward as well. And a last piece of news to send you on your way for the day. Source, the BBC Science and Environment section. 2 women share chemistry Nobel in historic win for genetic scissors. This is amazing news indeed for the world, as these 2 women are the first to jointly share in the prize in their field for their contribution of the CRISPR-Cas9 genetic scissors, which allows scientists to cut DNA anywhere they need to do so. The implications for this are huge. What's more, though, for this story, the 2 women draw attention to 2 very important facts in science today. 1, that there is, and always has been, a clear lack of women involved in sciences, something that needs to change, and these 2 are showing women everywhere that their contributions to the field matter. And 2, going with a quote here, begin quote, "We see a clear lack of interest in following a scientific path, which is very worrying." End quote. Simply put, people, we need more people to be into science. And we here at Lofi Poli Sci couldn't agree more with both of these points. No matter who you are or where you are today, people, read something sciencey. Tell a friend about that sciencey thing. Let the world know science is cool. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Good News Friday. Always remember that Lofi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Wash those hands. And I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.